And we're rolling. How's it going?
It's going somewhere.
Thanks for coming. Cheers to something.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Skull.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
I have Malibu.
My friend's calling me. He's running
Excellent.
sound at the V right now
Oh, yeah?
for Molly's chamber.
Oh, that's
Matt?
right.
Yeah. Shout out Hollis.
Is that the desperation? What do we do with the sound right now? Help?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, they were looking for a sound guy. They were like, man, if only we could... I was talking to Matt and Rain and Rogue. And they were like, man, if only we could find someone to run sound for us, man. And then, like, I was literally looking at Hollis as he's telling me this. I'm like, that guy could do it. He's like, Hollis, for real? I'm like, yeah, for real.
Is that who's been doing it?
And then, yep, ever since. The rest is history.
Very excellent.
Excellent.
That is excellent.
So where did it all start with us? Was it that birthday party at Casey Hall?
Actually, no. It
Oh,
was
before?
no. Are you
That's
talking
when I
about our
joined
session with SevenStone or
Just-
when Louri joined us?
That's the
That's when I
first time I remember, like, meeting you guys,
Okay, yeah.
like, officially.
that was the official meet. Yes.
Yes. However, the first time we saw you guys, it was a fourth Friday. And we had to stop there, and why we had to stop there, I don't remember. I do remember that I was still feeling very antisocial. And this band took the stage and said, okay, so we're going to play some Led Zeppelin. And I put my hand on Amy's shoulders and I started pushing her toward the gate, shoving her, going, go, 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 because I didn't want to hear somebody else mutilate Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
And then y'all started playing, and I literally stopped, like just dead stopped, turned around, and I looked at the stage and I said, who the fuck are those guys? And she's like, I don't know, but we need to go. And so I get in the car and I got on the Facebook page for the fourth Friday, and I turned around and I said, remember the name SevenStone.
And then I was like, we need them. We need to have a birthday party, and they need to play for us.
Yeah. It was one of those, you started playing, and it was...
Was I in the band at the time? Because I haven't...
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Nice.
But we
Wait.
didn't really pay that much attention to who the band members were because we were walking out. We were just like, we want them. We love
Right.
them.
We
But
love
if
this.
I
Pretty
was...
sure you were. Yeah.
Well, I was watching an old video that was posted, and it looked like at one point Rico was actually...
Ah, yeah.
Yes. And I would have remembered that because Rico, so I had met Rico a long time ago. There we go. I met Rico a long time ago. So I knew who he was. And so there would have been a reference, and he wasn't there. I would have remembered, oh, hey, that's Rico. You can't miss him. He's like, what, 6'11".
I don't know who Rico
Yeah,
is.
he's a big guy.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I don't know who Rico is.
Yeah.
He was the
He's a
guitar
cool-
player, the other guitar player before me.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
How long have you been with them?
It was like Thanksgiving time, like 2.5 years ago. It's been over 2 years. Thanksgiving's coming around again, like, you know, in like 3 months or 4 months, so
Thank
So
God.
tomorrow.
that'll be 3 years, yeah.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll have Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it will, you know,
It might as well be. It goes by that fast.
it really does.
Every day is Halloween in my world.
I know
That's
she's
right.
already on Code
Every
Orange.
day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I almost wrecked the truck the other day. We were cruising through Colorado Springs, and I was driving, which is not generally the best idea because, you know, I have the road name Squirrel for a reason.
Okay.
So I'm driving down some road, Colorado Springs, and they have those marquees that change and flash and do all the really cool, exciting light show things. And all of a sudden I see the Spirit Halloween marquee pop up, and I was like, oh my God, it's a Spirit. I almost wrecked the damn
Like
truck.
Spirit Store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. End of July, and there was a Spirit. Well, it wasn't there actually. It was a coming soon.
I have a friend that's literally always Halloween. He
is.
does the Haunted Village in Cloudcroft.
Love the Haunted Village.
Before he started the Haunted Village, he just did it all at his house. So you can imagine, like, I mean, his house was insane, but that was the first time I ever went to his house, and I hadn't been there yet, you know. And he was like, "Yeah, just go to the top of Del Prado, and you'll know which one it is." And so I get there, and the house is like literally like just humming with like.
I wish I
Just
could have
so
went to
much
that.
stuff.
Like that would have been amazing.
And he had like a closet with all like certain props. Like some of them are made out of like latex, so they get damaged, you know, easily. So you had to like keep them in dark storage room. But like this closet, you'd open it up and it just like Halloween shit just fall all over you. Or like you walk into his house and there's like a, you know, he's always repairing stuff. So there's like a zombie just in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
if you're not aware of it, like you just walk in like, oh shit, there's a zombie. You
I
know, like,
actually
it'll
have a
catch
client that's
catch you off
got-
guard.
She's got a zombie on the floor in her kitchen that he
Nice.
just hangs out.
Permanently.
I have an evil doll head in my kitchen that hangs out all the time.
She dresses this one up.
I
cool.
would too.
Yeah.
I totally would.
She dresses him up for every holiday.
Oh yeah, my friend has a T-Rex mounted on his wall. You know, like a elk head or something, but it's a T-Rex. But he always
That's
puts like
amazing.
a Santa hat or like Mardi Gras beads or whatever the holiday is. He like decorates the
Love
T-Rex.
that.
I used to have a ghost on my station, and I would decorate him differently for the holidays. So for like Mother's Day, I made him pregnant, holding a bouquet of flowers.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amusing. Got to entertain yourself.
So Colorado, huh?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
We found this tiki bar, Shrunken Head Tiki Bar.
Dude,
they had
tiki
swings and a light bright board.
table.
It was the
Cool.
best. And the drinks were stupid expensive and stupid strong. One is all you needed.
And the cool thing is, it's all underground. Like you find the
Yeah.
door, you walk through the door, and there's a landing of about 3 steps, and then all of a sudden you're just going down into these concrete catacombs. All right, so there's all this old shit, and it's damp and it's dank. It's total basement, and just these hallways, just these concrete hallways. So there was one door, and I stuck my head in there, and it looked like the Garden District in New Orleans, like all these roses everywhere, and it was crazy feminine. And it was too much.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. And I looked up and I saw the Christmas lights down at the tiki bar. And I was like, that's where we're going. That looks like a party. And yeah, you walk in, there is this huge fountain. This is all underground, so there's no windows, there's no nothing, but there's this huge fountain. And in the center of this thing was this giant light bright board that just ran the whole length. And it had an additional table on the top of that was clear, so you could put all your shit up there and still play with the light bright board.
Huh.
And it
And
was
be on a
surrounded
swing.
by chain link swings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is what city?
Colorado Springs.
Just like a downtown area?
Yeah. We found this other restaurant called The Rabbit Hole, and it's another one where it's got this, yeah, that's why we went. Like, hey, we're going to the rabbit hole. Hell yeah, we're going to the rabbit hole. I break with tradition.
And we did not fall down the rabbit hole.
We could have. We really could have. Because it looks like an old subway. It has, the glass enclosure with the iron and this little sign that says The Rabbit Hole. You walk through the door, and there's, once again, about 3 steps, and then you're going downstairs. And this place used to be a morgue. So it's this whole underground concrete morgue catacomb kind of place with this grand Alice in Wonderland theme. Like,
Wow.
they brought me a drink that had a flaming marshmallow in it.
Sick.
It was fantastic. I don't like marshmallows, just so you know.
All
But it
you
was on
guys-
fire, and that's why I wanted it.
Not that it would have mattered because she had already had one drink.
I'm surprised she remembers that.
She's a lightweight. She had one drink and she was pretty toasted after one drink.
I
Just
really
saying.
was. There's video.
Were you there too?
No,
No?
I couldn't take the time off.
She had to pack her house because she's leaving us.
Yeah.
Going to Phoenix?
Yep.
Phoenix?
She's gonna have a great time.
Yeah, Arizona's crazy. It's like extra, extra hot. I mean, there's more to it than heat, you know? I'm sure there's more to it than heat.
I'm not
but-
so sure.
Not
I'm,
right
I'm
now.
not convinced of
Not
that.
right now. No.
Like, I
am
have family like
absolutely
in
not.
Tucson, you know, or at least I did. A lot of them don't live there anymore, but
Because it's hot.
Tucson was cool. as
Tucson's
shit,
not
though.
bad.
Not-
Tucson compared to Phoenix, that's like
Hate
paradise.
Phoenix.
What's interesting is like the air is hot. Like New Mexico, it's hot out during the day, but like at least in the shade you can cool off, or like at night it cools down. But in Arizona, it's like doesn't really cool down at night. It's still
Not
just
at
hot.
all.
The air is hot.
Yeah.
It's oppressive.
I'm so excited.
It's
I
brutal.
can tell. I'm getting
Super
positively
excited.
giddy from all the joy oozing off of you.
I remember one time going through Arizona to go to California, and we stopped. It was like midnight at a gas station. I got out. It was like, holy crap! It's still like 105 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
That's why I like where we live. I love Alamogordo.
Yeah, Alamo's a crazy place. Friends of friends of friends, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole social thing is new for me, so I'm kind of learning.
Yeah, reintegrating.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm integrating. I'm not so sure that I'm integrating. But I'm sitting back and watching an amusement, so there's that.
There you go. We had a great conversation when you cut my hair the other day.
Hell yeah.
That
Hell
was
yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
like your shop.
Thank you.
Yeah, your
I
shop's
love
dope.
my shop. I love my shop.
Did you see Edna, our skeleton that's hanging on the fireplace? Did you see her?
I can't imagine I didn't see her, but I can't.
It's a bit of a sensory overload. It is definitely a sensory
I mean, she's sitting there with
overload.
rum chata, so, you know.
She's happy.
Yeah.
I like the DIY aspect of it. You could tell a lot of it's like just just put together by you guys. It's not like a lot of like.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it, but it's really custom.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of my skate shop. I was telling you that when I had a skate shop with some friends. It was all just like our own stuff, you know, because like you go into a corporate store like Zumiez, like the mall skate shops, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all set up like what do you call them, franchise. But ours was like just we had cut up magazines and shit, like all the skate magazines and just funny inside jokes everywhere.
Hell yeah.
It's just like you could tell the vibe was just electric in that place. You
Yeah,
know?
and it's yours.
And
it's
everyone
all
could
yours.
feel it. But I felt some of that vibe when going into your shop. I was like, fuck yeah, like DIY.
Yeah, we got a lot of stank up in our shop. There's a lot of stank in that shop.
And most of it came from our clients. Like, they've brought us 90% of the stuff that's in there. And it's like we have some great people that come in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure do.
Twisted Scissor.
Yeah, they keep us from having to get real jobs.
Shameless plug. So who came up with the name?
Well, actually, it was an old business partner that I had
Okay,
that came up with the name.
cool.
And I wasn't opposed to it. So that's kind of how that worked.
And it fits us perfectly.
It really does.
Nice.
It really does.
Is it have anything to do with Quiet Right? I mean, not Quiet Right. What?
Twisted
the
Scissor.
The band.
Sister.
I always get those
Twisted
two
Sister.
mixed up.
Oh my God. Apparently so do I. You know, not really. Like, it didn't start out that way, but it ended up that way. The building is really old. Okay, so there's all kinds of weird shit that rolls through there. Like, the building's haunted. You know, we get shit flying off the walls all the time. We always have. And so when it first started, we just called the entity Snyder. We're like, yeah, Snyder says don't do that, or he didn't like that, or whatever. So
Okay.
anytime something weird would happen in the shop, it was always Schneider. You know, so then sometimes people would think it was Schneider from One Day at a Time, like that old 70s sitcom with Valerie Bertinelli and the freaking janitor, or, you know, D. Schneider. Depends
Right.
on what generation, I guess, or, you know, you can only see the world through your own experiences.
That's it.
We have a cleaning lady that comes every so often, and she swears that Snyder's always messing with her, especially in the bathroom.
That's because he is.
I don't think it's Snyder messing with her in the bathroom, though. It's Claire.
Oh, yeah.
The ghost thing is kind of a trip. I've never really had any ghost experiences, really. I don't know if I'm just not in tune to it or if I'm just in denial. I mean, maybe I believe in it. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't, like, discredit other people. Like, there's so many people who've had experiences.
Because how do you prove them wrong?
Well, and, like, not that I would even want to, but you're just like...
You can't, yeah.
They've had profound experiences, and I haven't. But I'm definitely not, like, afraid of them. I'm always, like... I feel like I have, like, a force field around me. So if any shitty spirits tried to, like, latch onto me, I'd be like, you ain't a match for this. You know what I mean? I can't fuck with this.
That's usually how it goes.
So maybe I've convinced myself, like, if there's anything around, I'm like, it's only a good thing, you know?
Yeah, I generally find them, like, even when because I've had people ask me about coming into their homes and helping them with something that they felt was malevolent. That really wasn't. It was 9 times out of 10, it was something that they had done to call something in and then got scared and then tried to deny it, and so then ended up pissing off whatever it was they called in. You know, so when something, and this is what I find in my own stuff, other people will argue this, but I personally, this is me, I don't feel that anything is necessarily evil nor not evil. I think that evil and non-evil is a human construct. You know, it's all in your perspective, it's all in your scope.
I like that. I think so too. Yeah.
There's a Rumi quote, and he says that beyond the field of good and or beyond the realm of good and evil, there is a field. I will meet you there.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I think that when we tend to think of something as evil or as dark, or why we associate dark with evil, is still a mystery to me. I just know that it's common. You know, it's coming from your sphere. If you were taught to be afraid, then you're going to view it as evil. If you were taught that things just want to be witnessed, then maybe it's not so evil, because when things, people, whatever, don't get what they need, then you end up seeing the supposed dark side or the evil side or the angry side, whatever, because they're simply just not getting their needs met.
Sure. I think we think in a linear way. Like,
Yes.
it's a very linear way of thinking, like light and dark or whatever, good and evil. But it's more like spherical. Like
Yeah.
like the universe and all the like our bandwidth is limited, and we have a linear bandwidth, you know what I mean? And there's only it's like dog ear antennas where we can only tune into so many channels. And then we think that's everything. When in reality there's like infinite channels, but
Yeah.
we can't tune into all of them.
Well, and the truth is, everything is circular.
Right.
Everything is circular. We have this illusion that it's linear, and it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, everything. And you keep coming back, and every time you come back, you dig deeper, and you dig deeper, and you dig deeper. You know, take that knowledge, move on, and then you come back to it like, oh, fuck, I missed that. Huh. Let's revisit that again, shall we? It's been like this whole fucking year, right?
It has, yeah. I wasn't necessarily taught that it was good or evil. I just remember from a young age picking up on things, and I was like, I see a person right there, and there's not a person there. Like, I see things, and I didn't know what was going on. And when they would call my name and they would talk to me, I was like, why are you talking to me? Don't talk to me.
But were you ever told you were evil because you could do that?
No. Nobody talked to me.
Were you a kid?
Yeah.
Because I just saw like a funny picture. I don't know if they call them memes. I guess they're memes.
Everything is a meme.
Everything's a meme, but it was like a parent scolding a kid, like, your imaginary friend's not real, and then the picture below is like the mom in church, and then the kids just sitting there all bored as fuck.
And you know, everything
like,
starts in the
oh,
imagination.
you can believe in your imaginary shit, but I can't believe in mine. And kids are closer to the source anyway.
Hell yeah.
So the kid is probably actually seeing something that's there.
Yeah.
When the parent's just like scared about like not knowing anything and just like being like, well, I better pray just to be safe.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, hopefully, I mean, it's just an insurance.
Because they haven't had the human
It's like an
condition
insurance
beaten
policy.
into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what kills me is imagination. Everything starts in the imagination. You can imagine it here, and it permeates everywhere else. That's how you create, is the imagination. And we spend so much time eviscerating ourselves from our imagination, because the truth is, it's easier to keep people in line when they don't have their imagination.
That's
You
it.
start imagining things, and you see a whole different world.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you need a refill?
I don't know if that's good.
Can you hand me one of those black ones too? If you get a chance. Since the room is so small, we can just reach across the whole room.
Kind of nice. I really love this space.
I've been working on it. In fact, you guys are the first people with the new table and like the new, what else is new? Oh, the lights. I upgraded my lights. They're just Walmart lamps, but I got the warm bulbs on the top and then the daylight bulbs in the sides, so you kind of get the spotlight, but you also get the vibe.
It's very bougie.
I love your space. Like, it's just awesome.
Thanks.
I think we need a demonstration on the skate park.
I really feel we need a demonstration on your skate park. Not right this second.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I just...
There's some videos I've gotten out there lately, like a couple of the vlogs. Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some skating in there, but I want to do like a they go like MTV Cribs,
yeah.
but like not like a full crib, but just on the skate park. Like, well, here's the ledge, here's the manual pad, here's the rail, and then get a little trick on each one.
You could do the whole crib,
do it.
though. Just gives you something to move into.
Yeah.
We'll start here.
There's a funny comedian, Ali Wong, I think is her name. She's hilarious, stand up, but she said something about like dating skaters as one of her bits, and she's like, you're dating a skater when you wake up on a mattress in a kitchen. And like it's funny because like my girlfriend, like we've moved into this warehouse and it wasn't set up like a house, so we've like lived in every different room. You know what I mean? Like this room one time was like our bedroom, at some point, and like the front room used to be a skate shop. Like I've had jam room in here, like every room's been different, but it's funny because the kitchen's back there, and we've literally like slept in there too. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, God damn, that was funny. Like
And true.
Slept on a mattress in a kitchen,
which is why it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing though to be in this warehouse and create this space like that. Like this is just badass. Like it is.
Thank
badass.
you. Yeah, it's been like 10 years now, 11 years. So it's just piece by piece. There's still
First thing I thought
little things
of.
to do here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, first thing I thought of when I walked in is, man, my grandkids would love this space.
Yeah, the kids love it. Even the ramps, like my little nephews and stuff. The ramps, to me they're like 4 feet tall or whatever, but to the kids they're like way up there. Like you have to climb that ramp, So they'll climb like way up that ramp and then slide down it and stuff, like just on their butts, just sliding down it, Yeah, it's like a slide, like a playground.
So, Louri, what are you looking forward to about Phoenix?
I don't nothing. Getting out of Alamogordo, getting out of New Mexico for a little bit. That's basically it.
Honestly, I think you're gonna have
The
a great
food?
adventure.
The
Was
food.
it like a job or something, or just?
No, it's a family situation. I'm going to help my my dad and my stepmother pay their bills. She's getting her degree to be a RN, so she has to do clinicals. And she
you can't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my dad was like killing himself trying to find a second job. So
Right.
then they were like, "Do you want to come up?" I was like,
So
"Oh,
she's
yeah."
the second job.
Yeah.
Cool, but you're all gonna live in the same place, right? So at least like you can, what do they call it? Cohabit.
Cohabitate.
Good.
Split the bills.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. It'll get old quick, but it's my only opportunity to get out of this place. So
Yeah. Have you been here most of your life?
all my life,
Yeah.
all of it. Yep. So
Yeah.
it's about time.
It is.
Cool.
And what's the worst that happens? You decide you don't like it and you come back. Your girls will be waiting for you.
Yeah.
I don't
gonna
see
try
that
my
happening.
I'm gonna
though.
try my hardest to stay out there, or like
I
go
don't see that
somewhere else,
happening.
because I don't want to regress.
Well, and so
Yeah,
you
no.
know, I won't be waiting. I'll probably be out there aggravating you.
Yeah.
So Phoenix might not
Oh,
be
yes.
the dream destination, but like it might be a stepping stone towards.
Yeah.
Like where would you go if you could just move anywhere? Where would you go?
Like anywhere in the world.
Just anywhere, yeah. It's a hard question. huh?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time. I don't know, somewhere in Europe, maybe like Ireland or something.
Sick.
Heck yeah.
Or
I'd go to
I don't know, like
Scotland.
get a cottage somewhere, just out in the middle of nowhere.
That
Nice.
is that whole swamp witch plan.
Yeah, the bog.
The bog witch,
I wanna
yeah.
live in
Totally
a bog
gonna have a bog witch
with
house.
a cottage and a bunch of alligators as pets.
So like countryside, maybe not in the big city. Like
Yeah.
small town versus big city.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's the goal. But it's like nice. I want to live in big cities because I'm not used to that, obviously. Just to like try it out.
Sure.
You know, get that experience, and then just find some nice little place and hide away from the world.
I've probably said this before, but cities, like, there's a lot there, but everyone just kind of stays in their zone eventually once you get comfortable.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, like I live on the east side or whatever, and then you've got like your pharmacy and like your food spots and all this stuff, and then like you kind of just run the same little small area within the big city.
It's a 5-block radius. Most
Yeah.
people live in a 5-block radius.
And there's a lot of provided entertainment, but I mean, how many big sports games are you really gonna go to? You know,
None.
or the malls. I mean, like, but you can order
Yeah.
shit on the internet. I mean, like the big city, it's dope. I mean, it's coming from a small town guy. That's like, you know, obviously I favor the small town or I'd leave, but like the cities kind of are scary too, like a doomsday scenario, you know, or like just any shit that hits the fan scenario where you're like, there's just all these people in panic and the freeways are clogged up and
Yeah.
like there's just so many people. At least here, it's like it'd still be shitty. I mean, like you're kind of screwed no matter where you're at, but at least here it's like you can kind of like run for the hills or
Do you
just
find-
close your gates up and like have a shotgun or something or,
Do you
or
find
whatever.
you
but
always have an escape plan when you go places? Do you always have an escape plan?
it's kind of, yeah, like sometimes I don't, and then I think maybe later like, yeah, I should maybe but yeah,
Always
a lot
have an
of
escape
times I'm
plan.
looking around though, yeah, like what would I do if kind of thing.
Well, and when you're in a big city, you spend more time getting from point A to point B than you do being at point B. It's almost not worth it. I lived in a city for a while, and I got in trouble for being late to work because there was an accident on the freeway.
I don't
Like,
have to worry about that, so I'm good.
Yeah.
You guys are making this sound very convincing. Like, I'm super excited.
Well, I heard about a guy that would he'd get off at 5 and he'd get home at 8. So like he
Yeah.
had a 3-hour commute, but he
Jeez.
found instead of leaving work at 5, he'd just leave work at 7 and still get home at 8.
yes.
So he just like stay at work 2 more hours because he's like, I'm gonna be 3 hours to
Makes
get home
sense.
either way, so I might as well just spend the extra 2 hours like where I'm not in the car, like pinching the freaking steering wheel, like, you know, getting all that anxiety. You know, if you ever get out of the car and you just like you decompress, you don't realize how uptight you are when you're driving on all those lanes. It's crazy.
I used to have this commute. I grew up in Connecticut, and I used to have to take the Quinnipiac Bridge back and forth, which is between East Haven and New Haven, which is where Yale is. So every day at 5 o'clock, it was an absolute clusterfuck, and I always ended up stuck in it. And at the time, I was driving a 65 Mustang Coupe, okay? No AC, no heat. In fact, the door wouldn't stay closed, so I had it bungeed around the seat to keep it closed. And every day I'd get stuck on that damn bridge, and I'd get out of the car, and I'd go sit on the hood of my car and just sit there and smoke a cigarette, waiting for the cars to move. Because what else are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what else are you going to do? Talk to people next to me. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
It's true.
it's crazy.
You gotta make
I don't
your
like
own
big
fun.
cities. I like Alamogordo. I like the small town, but I want to travel. I want to see everything.
If
We
I
do.
was to leave Alamo,
We
there's
do.
so many friends and family, like like that I go way back with, that I'd have to give all that up to go somewhere else. So like, I mean, it's not just the town, but it's more of like, like you're always like, oh yeah, we'll stay in touch. You know what I mean? And then like it just
Life gets in the way.
fizzles away, kind of. Like the long distance kind of thing. But it's like the smaller relationships too. Like if I was just to leave, it's like how many more times am I going to see my friend? Well, let alone see like my friend's dog. Things like that. Where you're like
The dogs are important.
Yeah, you're like, damn, like I'm only gonna see that dog like 2 more times. Because I only see my friend like once every 7 years or some shit. It sucks. But stay in touch. At least we have the internet, texting, FaceTime.
Thankfully, it's made the world significantly smaller.
It
Yeah.
really has.
Like Louri made me a flat Louri, so it's a picture of Louri on a stick, so I can take her with me wherever I go. Very
I have
excited
one
about my
too.
flat Louri.
I can't find mine because,
I'm going to start dancing with her. I'm going to do a dance, an ode to Louri.
You guys came to a show and brought one of your friends who wasn't there. I can't remember which one.
That was Louri.
It was
Who's a
Louri.
flat Louri?
Yeah. Okay.
Flat Louri.
Told her I
1.0.
needed another one since she was leaving.
we
Yeah.
decided maybe we should start a YouTube channel and have it be Flat Louri YouTube channel.
Yeah, the adventures of flat Louri.
It's catchy. I mean,
Yeah. Start taking her on all of our weird trips. I figure we can prop her up on the dashboard while we're just having random conversations about magical masturbation.
well, there you go.
I think I missed that conversation.
That's today. That's today's conversation.
I'm like, I think I missed that one too for reference, but
I would
no.
like to miss that one.
We could take her when we go on our whitewater rafting trip again next year.
Oh my God, we're totally gonna put
That'd be
you
the
down.
only time
in
I would do it. That's Flat Louri.
White water rafting. Say that 10 times fast.
Right?
Do I have to?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Okay. Like, please don't make me.
You
I
do
really am not
whitewater
so sure I
rafting.
can do that.
It was so much
Flat
fun.
Louri.
It was
Flat
so much
Louri's
fun.
whitewater rafting adventures.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Nice.
can take me on all your little trips that I don't
Well,
get to go to.
I'm gonna take you to my fire walking classes. Take
Our
you to
tiki
my
bar
Throw
the
me on
next
tiki
fire.
time.
bar.
Fire walking like Ace Ventura style?
I'm actually looking into fire walking classes. That's a whole other. That's a whole other little segue. But yeah, I just fire. I'll get back to you.
Like
on that
across the
one.
hot coals?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Glass walking and fire walking. There's actually classes on how to not only learn how to glass walk and fire walk, but also how to teach it, because it's used as an empowering sort of thing. I walked on hot coals. I could probably handle this job interview. Or I walked on broken glass. I could probably handle ending this relationship. Whatever. I walked on
Tomato.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
walked on hot glass. I can, I don't know, jump off this mountain. Whatever. Fix something.
I don't know
Nice.
about that.
I could do that regardless.
But it's been really interesting just reading how they do this. And in fact, there's a class coming up in Cruces on fire walking and glass walking. I feel we need to add that to the shop.
That's super cool. I always find it interesting, like worlds within worlds, where you're like,
Yes.
wow, I've never thought of that. But there's like entire communities and like all kinds of like, I mean, you can YouTube or Google anything, and then there's like all this information about it, and you're like, where are these people? Like,
yeah.
There's all these people out here just walking across fires.
Yeah, because they can. Like, thank you for the entertainment. Yeah, I love YouTube. God, I love YouTube.
It's the one thing that technology's like really brought so many people together and so many walks of life and just connected everybody in so many different ways. It's kind of cool that you can learn so much from Jane.
You know what I
on YouTube.
found though? They don't swear as often as I do. There was this one incident where I went to open my back door and I pulled the handle off. Go shit. So now I had to YouTube videos on how to fix the door handle because, well, I pulled the whole damn thing off. And watched the video a bunch of times, went to the store, told the guy, hey, this is what I need, came home. Yeah, and I got lost, and I realized that they don't swear nearly as much as I do. But I did get it fixed, and then it came off again. That's okay. Got it fixed again.
You're talking about who doesn't swear as much? The YouTubers?
Yeah, they don't swear as much as I do.
Yeah, I've noticed that YouTubers don't swear
They
that
really
much.
Gotta
don't.
make money.
Yeah.
And swearing.
There was a couple of F-bombs in my back door handle installation that they didn't have.
See, that's where you needed Flat Louri. You could have done a YouTube channel with Flat Louri on how to properly,
Louri is now going to teach you how to change a door handle.
with some proper words.
With some very colorful explanations.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you guys listen to any podcasts at all?
Yours. I listen to yours.
Yeah.
I have another one I like that's called The Middle-Aged Witch. I love her. She's amazing.
Is she just solo or does she have guests? Or?
It's just her. Well, she may start having guests. I'm not certain.
I've always wondered about solo podcasts. I listen to the Stoic Coffee Break.
Oh,
where
interesting.
He's just like 15 minutes of like stoicism for your morning coffee. Positive. Like Marcus Aurelius said, blah blah blah. I can't remember any of the quotes, but all those Stoic guys.
Do you listen to it while you're drinking your coffee?
I didn't. I was listening to it just driving to work. It was like I think it was 5 minutes, but they're just like quick little snippets. But it was pretty cool. But he even had like an episode where he's like explaining why he's not going to do it anymore because he had other things to focus on and whatever. But little solo podcast. I'm like, it's interesting.
Interesting.
I've
Yeah.
been listening to one called The Unexplained Encounters from Truck Drivers.
Wow.
It's actually really entertaining, some of the stories that these truck drivers have to tell about different areas of the world and different things that they've all encountered that are very similar stories, but none of them know each other.
Right. I bet you there's all kinds of crazy phenomena like on the road and like
Oh, yeah.
weird routes, and you're like, wait a minute, I lost like 3 hours of my life. Hey, me too. Like, I lost 3 hours of my life too. Where was that? And you're like, oh shit, like there's something going on that hill.
So, my dad was a truck driver, and he didn't have any weird paranormal stories, but he had a lot of lot lizard stories.
My dad, too. My dad was also a truck driver.
Lot lizard?
Lot lizards, yes. I remember one time
Lot
he
lizards,
was
yeah.
the girls that like to hang out and crawl in your truck, just to keep you company.
That's their official name, lot lizard.
Lot lizards,
That is
yes,
their
yes.
official name.
It's kind of cute, right? It's
honestly.
catchy.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
What's your profession? Lot lizard.
I like that.
I mean, at least it's cute.
It's a little
But-
more admirable than.
Apparently.
The other ones.
I don't think most of them are very cute, though, just for reference.
My dad
That's
said he had
subjective.
one that looked like olive oil.
Look.
Popeye.
Yeah, he said he had one that looked like olive oil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not literal
That's good or
olive oil.
bad.
I hope not. Though I don't know. I don't
like
think I'd be
olive oil.
shocked if she really did look like literal olive oil. I mean, kind of interesting. You come back and there's a weird spot in your bed. Yeah.
We won't go there.
Don't.
Cathy speaks.
I'm enjoying listening to everybody.
I was listening to another one, too. It was a shroomed podcast. It was pretty interesting.
Like
This-
mushrooms, like psilocybin.
Yeah, this guy was talking about how he has severe social anxiety until he started doing shrooms, and now he's actually a functioning person that can go out in public, and he has his own business, his own website. He sells shrooms. He's like a big shroom guy now.
Yeah, it might be Paul Stamets, the guy with the mushroom hat.
I don't remember.
He used to like have a speaking problem or stuttering problem, but he's like the ultimate mushroom guy. But he's like not a psychedelic mushroom guy, but like a healing, like lion's mane and reishi and like a
Right.
turkey tail. He's like a mushroom genius. Like, he's like all about it.
And it might be the same guy, I don't know, for reference, but I did go to his website and look, and he's got a lot of interesting products, but then you're like, are they legit products, or like you have to do all your research on all that.
Mushrooms are really crazy. They're like the electricity system of the planet. Basically, like the mycelium basically connects all living things, and they're basically like 1,000% responsible for like everything being the way that it is.
Everything.
It's like everything, all the forests and everything like communicate under the ground through giant mycelium. It's like the largest living thing.
Isn't
This
that
is
the
really-
coolest thing? Like when
Yeah.
you think about it and you look at a forest and these trees are all, these plants are all protecting each other and talking to each other and like, hey, there's trouble coming. We need to put up our barriers, protection, our poison, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My brain's too small to think about those things.
There's a cool documentary. I forget what it's called, but it's just a Netflix. I didn't even finish the whole thing yet, but it's just like a fungi, something. We are fungi.
I saw that. Yeah,
It's incredible.
it's on my list of things to watch. At the moment, I've been sucked into NCIS.
Nice.
Me
Yeah.
too. When I'm not watching, what is my grandkids watching right now? I don't remember the name of it. It's on it. Miles from Tomorrowland. That's what it is. That's what we're watching.
It's crazy how many shows there are. That's another world within world, dude. Like right now, all over the place, they're filming and making all these new shows
Yeah.
and new seasons to old shows, and you're just like, this is always happening constantly because there's so many shows.
And I don't think I watch any of them.
I just watch like the same like few over and over again.
I find
don't
I'm
have the
so
attention
disconnected. Like I had all this week, I'm listening to people talk about the Barbie movie and talk about the Oppenheimer movie and talk about a song that has apparently gotten everybody's
Sound
knickers
of
in a
Freedom.
bunch. No, that's a movie about children's sex rings or something.
Yeah, but I've
no,
been
the
hearing,
song
like,
is something
nonstop
about
that one.
I hear you need tissues for that movie though. Just for reference.
probably.
It's the Luke Combs song. That's from a small town.
Jason Aldean.
Jason. Oh, sorry, Luke Combs. Sorry.
And so what's been interesting is everybody's telling me their opinions and they're getting angry. You know, it was really fascinating, especially because I had no idea what they were talking about. So I had to go home and get on Google and find out what everybody's talking about because sometimes I try to relate, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm still,
Sometimes.
No, I'm with you. I have no idea what's going on most of the time.
yeah, no idea. So yeah.
No
like,
idea
I
what
had,
the big movie is. I have
Yeah,
no
not
idea
a
what the
clue.
new songs are. Nothing.
So like we have a friend of my son's that lives with me and he came out. So when he first moved in, he had me watch every episode of My Little Pony with him. Very interesting. I found
My mother made me watch
every
them.
episode of My Little Pony. Needless to say, so there's a character in there named Sakura, and she is a zebra, and she speaks in riddles, and she's a witch doctor that lives out in the trees, and she lives in a stump. So she comes out, and all the other ponies are scared. Ooh, scary, evil person that lives in the stump. And she comes on the screen, and I'm like, I like her. And he says, of course you do. I'm like, what are you trying to say, Joey? So anyway, watched every episode of My Little Pony. Now I'm working on NCIS because he came out and said, have you ever watched NCIS? And I said, no, I don't.
That's like forensics police stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just, I'll stick my nose in a book quicker than I'll throw the TV on.
Right?
I get overwhelmed with all the shows on Netflix, Hulu, and you just scroll and scroll and scroll, and you're like, I don't know what to pick. I picked one day, and I was like, why am I watching this? And I watched it. I watched the whole thing, and the whole time I'm like, why am I watching this movie? Like, what is my reasoning for watching
Do you remember
this
what it
movie?
was?
Run, Rabbit, Run.
That's why I watch just the same stuff over and over again because I know
It was
it's just
not
like
a great
background noise
movie.
at that point.
What's a good one that you like to watch?
Steven Universe. I really am into cartoons right now because I don't have
I
to
like
pay
Steven
attention to
Universe.
anything and they're whimsical. But yeah, Steven Universe is like the one that I go back every single time.
The
It's like
other-
my comfort show.
The other one is Phineas and Ferb. I'll watch Phineas and Ferb for days.
I haven't gotten that one yet. I don't know. Disney ones
I
are
don't
not
watch
like
TV.
I like the Cartoon Network
Hardly.
cartoons.
Kathy doesn't stop long enough to watch TV.
And when she
Must be
does, she
nice.
falls asleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't watch much TV either. Sometimes. Like, my girlfriend Amy, she'll watch a bunch of shows, and then sometimes I'll catch snippets of her shows, and I'm like, whoa, like, what's going on there? And then I'll get sucked into it. And then I'll start watching it with her, and she's like, we can go back. And I'm like, nah. And then, like, if it's really good, I'm like, all right, I'm down. Like, we can start it over and watch it. There's been a few of those shows, but most of the time I just watch a few episodes.
And then every once in a while you'll come home and you'll go, so what happened with Jane? What did Jane do today?
Some of them are good, though. Yeah, some of them.
So what'd you get sucked into?
Ones that she's watched, let's see. Like, some of them are just not even necessarily good, they're just funny. Like, there's one called Blue Mountain State, and it's this shitty football team from somewhere in Colorado. It's called Blue Mountain State. They're,
I've
you
heard
know,
of that one.
but it's just slap comedy, like, just,
I
it's
like
just
comedy.
dumb, mindless comedy, but it's just college guys and girls just partying and football, and they're just total cliche football. And just huge frat parties and just hot chicks and beer and just stupid. It's
Pool
so
parties
stupid.
and-
Yeah.
Sounds
But
great,
it's
though.
hilarious though.
It does sound like a good way to spend an evening.
You don't have to really try to watch it. It just watches itself for you.
Oh, fair enough. It doesn't take any real emotional anything.
And it's hilarious.
And if you walk away from it, you come back, you miss nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good way to have a show.
Yeah.
But one that I really like is Better Call Saul.
I heard good things about
Saul.
that one.
I love that show. Yeah, it's awesome. Because he's like a lawyer and he's just doing everything he can to try to be a good lawyer. But like, he just keeps getting shut down by the world and circumstances and everything. And so he always finds a loophole to like get something done. And he's just like a good guy doing the wrong thing, but the right thing. And it just keeps going and going and going. But he's so funny, like the shit that he does. And it's not that far of a stretch from reality. Like, it's like a... not necessarily a spin-off, but it's related to Breaking Bad.
Right.
And even Breaking Bad, there's a lot of parallels with reality, but some of it's a little far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
But like Better Call Saul is like a little bit more like believable, I guess. It's just like, I don't know, like it's almost like a real-life drama kind of thing where you're like, man, the drama is just heavy. Like I remember being a kid and being like at the video store, like Hastings or something, Blockbuster.
Yes, Blockbuster.
And you'd be like, oh, like I always like comedies and action. But
Yep.
drama, I wasn't into drama. But now I'm like, that's like the good stuff to me is like, oh, where's the heavy drama? Where you're like, you know, I'm like, that's like where all the good stuff is.
Oh my God, it's like you're growing up or something.
You're like, I love drama and check out my new washing machine.
Dude, right?
how you,
Oh my God.
you know
Yeah.
you're an adult when you're like, I got a new washing machine.
And I don't have a
New
new washing
vacuum.
machine, but I need to get one.
And you said
Check out that sick ass new water heater, dude. We just
Dude,
installed that whole
right?
thing.
Oh my
man.
God.
It's fucking sick. Man. It took all day. I couldn't figure that plumbing out, sweat those fittings, man. It was sick.
Hell yeah.
and I did it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had
Appliances.
I had bought my husband the stove of his dreams, and it was this double oven stove of his dreams, and he gets it home and he takes a picture of it. Mind you, he didn't have a picture of me in his phone, but he had a picture of his stove. And I used to tease
Priorities.
him. Yeah, I'm like, you get a picture of your stove. He says, well, I know what you look like. I'm like, you don't know what your stove looks like? So the first night we had it, we made enchiladas, and he threw it in the broiler, and the broiler actually worked. In fact, let me segue here a little bit. The reason why I decided to buy him a new stove is because we were watching the original Halloween, you know, the 1970s version Halloween, right? It's the beginning, and you see the eyes and the kid walking through the kitchen, and he goes to grab a knife to go kill his sister, right? So he's panning around the room looking for the knife, and as he's going around, there's the stove, and it's the same fucking stove that was in my kitchen. And I went, oh my God, freeze that. Holy shit, that's our stove.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need to get you a new stove. So yeah, he puts the enchiladas in the broiler, and it actually worked. It browned and melted the cheese. So he pulls it out, and he's standing there, and it's on the top of the stove, and he is presenting it like, ah. The heavens opened, and the angels went, ah. And he comes over, and he puts his arms around me like this proud father, like, it's so beautiful. Look at, that's what enchiladas are supposed to look like. It was great.
I guess if you go years and years without a proper like.
My stove was in the beginning of the original Halloween from the 70s. Yeah, it was bad.
Wow.
It was bad. It still worked.
My stove might not be far off from that,
Yours might
actually.
not be.
But I'm a renter, so it's not my problem. It still works. I don't think the broiler works. You know, it's that typical, you put all your extra pans in there.
Like at the bottom?
Yep.
Yeah, some of them are just like a
Storage.
yeah.
Not meant
Yeah.
for storage.
Some
You know,
of them
it was-
broil like inside the oven. They just broil, they cook from the top,
Yeah.
but there's not an actual broiler.
You know what that original bottom was for you to put the plates in, like for when you would come home at night and your wife would make you dinner, and
keep
so
it
it would
warm.
be put underneath to keep your dinner warm for you, so when you got home you had a warm dinner.
Wow. The origin of things that we never
Check
think
out
about.
the big brain on Amy.
The more you know. Learn something every day.
Well, yeah, that's how it should be. Otherwise, the day was wasted.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true. You learned, Louri, you learned how not to kill people today?
I'm so
No, I
proud.
Well, you're still sitting here, so you didn't hurt anybody today.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's not over.
Me sitting here doesn't mean I didn't hurt anybody.
Kill them. It was kill
just
them.
haven't
She
found
didn't
them
do
yet.
it.
You did not
Priorities.
kill them.
Yeah, it was.
Priorities.
See, and Cathy didn't kill anybody either because she was sleeping. It's because she was sleeping. Don't let her think twice.
Nap times are always good.
I didn't kill him.
I never get a nap. If I get a nap, I'm in trouble. I don't take naps.
I just take naps by accident. Like they're never like intentional.
That's what happens to me. Like, oh shit.
Sitting there watching TV and you're like,
I have to think about it. I have to sit there
I've
for like
learned
an
to take
hour.
naps.
I'm saying, but I still gotta like lay there for like an hour before I actually fall asleep.
if I take a nap, I'm up all night long looking at my ceiling, waiting for the morning to start because I can't sleep.
I usually don't have trouble sleeping.
I don't either.
I think
I
that's
just
just
sleep.
a guy thing. Guys just knock out like the
Yeah.
instant they hit the pillow. I gotta think about sleeping. To
My
sleep.
brain doesn't shut up.
Okay, I actually am one of those.
What, knock out
Yeah.
like right away?
Yeah,
Must be
I
nice.
smoke a cigarette and then I'm out. It's a guarantee. I've got a very Pavlovian response to the cigarette.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't relate.
When my body lets me sleep, I can lay down and I'm asleep within 5 minutes. But then I'm awake within an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'm up the rest of the night.
Hmm. So what do you think about sleep? Do you need 8 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours? Is there like a number, like
More
they say
than 4.
7 or 8 hours is like what you need?
I think
And then there's the
that-
whole argument like, well, you need sleep because then you'll live longer. But then there's other argument like, well, sleep when you're dead because like, you know, man, if you sleep 8 hours a day and there's 24 hours in a day, then you're sleeping 1/3 of your life away. Or like whatever. I don't know how I feel about it.
Wait, you got to do that voice again. That was the best thing. It was like
I
the
think
greatest.
that people worry about some things way too much. I think that if they just stop stressing about things and just let their body do what their body does, it probably wouldn't be such an irritant.
There you go.
You know? It's like I keep watching all this shit about food pyramids. Like the food pyramid was made back in, what, the 70s or something, and it's completely bogus.
You guys want to take a quick break?
I would love a cigarette.
Quick intermission.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Where do we go from here?
Oh, God, where do you want to go?
Anywhere.
Where were we?
Oh, shit. Oh, my God, we could talk about so much.
Where
So
would
much
you
stuff.
Where would you like to travel to, Pat? Like, if you could go anywhere to just to
Oh.
go visit, where would you like to go?
Definitely Barcelona, Spain.
Oh.
Why? Yeah,
Skateboarding.
Ah.
All the architecture, the way they built stuff,
it's amazing.
and there's all these marble ledges, and like a skateboarder, you know, like you go on vacation and everyone's like looking at the stores and like all the places, and we're just looking at the parking lots and like the benches and the planners, all the ledges. Every downtown city, you know, downtown cities have all that cool architecture, fountains and ledges and stairs and handrails and all that, and that's what we live for, is like skatable architecture basically. But Barcelona, Spain is like the mecca, one of the ultimate skate destinations ever, because they don't hate skateboarding like a lot of cities in the U.S. There's no, you know, they put things on the curbs to like stop you from grinding them, and they have security guards. They chase you off, and I mean, sometimes you understand it because arguably some of it's like borderline property damage, you know. But a lot of these places are government, federal area. I understand private property owner being like, you know, dude, like I don't want you like waxing my steps and shit, and like, you know, like if you own the place, like I'd be like, all right, respectfully, like, all right, like maybe we'll just come back when you're not here. but like government stuff, you're like, man, no one owns this shit anyway. And like the curbs, they look better with a little bit of grind marks and wax on them than they
really
do with all
do.
these shitty ass like skate stopper, dog ear, pig ear things they call them or whatever. And ultimately, a lot of those spots get torn down anyway. Like one of them is called Love Park. It's JFK Plaza in Philadelphia. But you know that it's a statue by Robert Indiana. What's Love, the red one? What's
yes.
like Love? Oh, it's just like this, like curb. Like I actually modeled this sticker. Here, I'm gonna give you guys a sticker. But
we get stickers.
Yay! I'm so
this
excited.
the reason I designed this sticker was curb. Was after like Love Park, because Washington Park was like our own little version of Love Park here in Alamogordo.
We got stickers.
I'm so excited.
But anyway, Love Park ended up just getting torn down. You know, like all the ledges and all the marble, all the granite.
Oh.
They just tore all that stuff out, and like that space is still there, but it's not. Oh, they don't make them like they used to, but they just don't build stuff like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, Barcelona, Spain has all that architecture. But another iconic skate place is San Francisco.
I was gonna say, because you've talked about that in another podcast, and is it pretty amazing over there in San Francisco to be able to skate over there?
And San Francisco, yes, it is amazing to skate, at least for me, because like back in the day, like all the skate videos before internet, you'd get a skateboard video, but it'd be like a VHS or DVD, and these companies would come out with them every several years, and so you just like watch that same tape over and over again, and like that's the only place you could see it. And so, but a lot of these spots, skate destinations, were like in these videos, and a lot of them are in San Francisco. And then like it's like skate tourism, you know, like when you see something and hear about it a lot, and then you finally go there, you're like, oh, this is what it looks like in 3D space, you know, like Hollywood Boulevard or something, for instance, you know, and you go there and you finally see it, and you're like, oh, like this is what Hollywood looks like, yeah, or whatever. But like it's like these skate spots, and you're like, oh damn, like this concrete reminds me of like the concrete at Washington or whatever, or like that ledge is it's like way harder to skate than it looks. Sometimes you get to a spot and you're like, damn, like this shit's hard to skate, like it's rugged and there's like cracks, and the ledge is like hard to grind, or like it's way taller than you thought it was, or like they make it look easy in the videos, you know, the pros, but you get there and you're like, damn, that shit's a little too tall, like I'm not jumping off that or whatever. But it's like, yeah, San Francisco though, it's square mileage, it's only like 7 miles by 7 miles, so it's like it's like a pretty small compact city, but there's all the hills, like, you know, you've seen the San Francisco hills, and
I've been down the crooked street.
Like Lombard, or the brick one. What is that called? Lombard Street?
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't know. I just know it was the crooked street.
Yeah, but there's all that stuff. But a lot of the hills, that lends itself to skate stuff, because hills create skate spots, you know, and there's just something about it. But it's an iconic town. I don't know why I've always been intrigued by San Francisco. Like if I had nobody here and no reason to stay here, I'd probably go there. But I just hate California, like politics. Not that I'm like a politics guy, but like you get older and you're like, what the fuck? Like this doesn't make any sense at all. Like you're like, what do you mean people could steal $1,000 worth of shit and shit in the streets, and then you know, there's like, oh, the skateboarders are a problem, but there's all these like fentanyl addicts and like people shitting in the streets, and you're like, okay, but this, you know, they tear down the skate spot, but then there's like endless. The Tenderloin district or Skid Row or whatever, you know. But yeah, Barcelona, that's where I'd go if I could go anywhere.
I mean, I'd love to go to Barcelona too, but I don't really skate, so.
There's a Salvatore Dali museum in Spain.
I'm always down.
And I'm sure there's a lot more to it, the culture-wise too. You know, there's like beaches, cities, and like all kinds of good food spots. Probably a lot of good music scenes. I don't know.
Probably. I used to skate when I was younger, but not like you. Just traditional skate down the road.
Just
kinda.
roll around.
Yeah.
That's
I
where it
never
all
learned
starts.
how to do all that
Roller
other stuff.
Huh?
Roller skated.
I
That
did
was
that
my
too.
thing. The roller arena. Yeah.
Every weekend.
Yep.
Till she broke herself.
I can't properly roller skate at all.
No.
That was as an
I
adult.
can't skateboard.
Yeah. There's something about my feet going 2 different directions. I'm like, no. Like the skateboarder, like you're going, both feet are there, you know, but I could never roller skate or rollerblade. I probably could, I just never gave it enough time.
I tried rollerblading once. It wasn't pretty.
Rollerblading wasn't
No.
easy.
You know, I would love to see that. That sounds like a good time. Like, I would pay to see that.
It was entertaining.
Challenge
Roller
accepted.
No, it's not. No, it might be accepted on your side of this particular room,
Okay,
but it's not
remember-
over here.
Remember last time I went roller skating? I ended up with a broken rib and a sprained ankle.
Yeah. No, no.
And this big dude came and picked me up because I'm short and fat, and I could not get up off the ground. This guy's giving me his hand, and come on, get up. I have 8 wheels on my feet, and you're telling me to stand up? That's not going to happen. This big dude comes and puts his arms around me and picks me up, and I was like, hello, thank you. He didn't speak to me. He didn't say 2 words, but he put me back on my feet. I was like, thank you. Thanks, big dude at the roll arena.
Yeah. The roller arena is iconic. It's old school.
Let's hear it for the big
And
dudes.
it still is. It's still old school.
Yeah, it is. I love the roller arena.
I went in there like around this time last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the same, but the music's changed. Now it's all like new stuff, and I'm like, come on, can you play like the early like 2000s hits, like when I was skating? Now it's like Billie Eilish, and I'm
When
like, it's cool, but like.
When they used to see me come in the door, they would play like some old Rush for me.
Sick.
Like, yeah, thank you. You know, I get one Rush song. I'm like, thank you. I'll take it. It's good.
It's a cool concept. It's like a dance kind of thing, and you know, like hold hands and like cruise around like a date spot.
Yeah,
you
kind
know?
of. Yeah.
Like boy girl type shit.
Oh my
but
God, taking it back to
nostalgia.
grade school.
Yeah. Like we were watching that show. Speaking of shows, Stranger Things. Have you seen that?
I started to watch it, but I never finished it.
I've watched
But
it
there's
all.
like some roller arena scene in there,
Yep.
like 80s style.
Though I'm very happy that Stranger Things has made Kate Bush more popular.
And Metallica.
And Metallica, yes, it's very nice. But
Same.
Metallica doesn't ever have a faltering popularity. They're Metallica. I mean, they're fucking legends.
Yeah.
You know, they're Metallica. Who's
They
not
just
heard
get
of
new
Metallica?
fans.
But all of a sudden, running up that hill kept coming up. I'm like, why is Kate Bush so popular all of a sudden? Not that I'm complaining. I love her.
Right.
So yeah, it was on. In fact, I was going into work today, and they played it on the local. Not even the classic rock station, like the Cool FM, I think it was, and they were playing Kate Bush. Like they're fucking playing Kate Bush on Cool FM. Holy
That's
shit!
sick. I always liked Guitar Hero for that reason too.
Yeah.
Those games, because I couldn't play them. Because to me, and maybe someone can dispute this or whatever, but as a guitar player, Guitar Hero doesn't make any sense to me because the easy mode would be too slow and you're not doing enough, and then like I don't know, the hard modes is just too much. And to me, it's like it doesn't match the music what you would actually be doing. So I was always like I couldn't play it. I mean, eventually I could figure it out. Some of it does make sense. Like they'll do the button spacing where your fingers are apart. Like it'll be like one button, skip a button, then press another button, and that to me is like it's like a power chord. And so that there's parallels, and I'm sure some of the little noodly things probably make sense, but I never really liked guitar, like to play it. I'd sit there and watch.
Did watch people for hours.
Then Rock Band came out, which you could jam with your friends, and then like they had the drum set and all that. And sometimes there's like latency too, where you press a thing, but it's not happening in perfect time. Like there's a latency issue. It's
Like a
kind of
lag.
like being on speakerphone, and then you hear yourself come back to yours, and you're like, "Am I on speaker?" It's so annoying hearing yourself. You know, you're like, take me off speaker. But like you get that kind of thing when you're playing the game. But what was cool about it though is a lot of people got introduced to music they wouldn't otherwise listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people who had never heard certain songs are like, "Oh, I fucking love that song, man! Bitch, I play that on Expert or whatever," you know. And
Dude.
so it helps like expose people to a lot of music.
I remember one day about 5 years ago, I had a client come in, and this kid was, maybe 14, 15, and he came in wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt. And I just was so happy. I'm like, you know how much it warms my heart to see somebody this young wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt? Just saying.
You know, I ask people all the time, what's your favorite music? Like, what do you like to listen to? And a lot of the young people are like, oh, we don't listen to music. I'm like,
Huh?
Yeah, I've
how
met
do
a
you
few people like that.
survive?
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
How? I don't
that's
understand
ridiculous.
I'm like, I
couldn't
couldn't live
in-
without music,
yeah.
right?
that. Yeah, no way.
I've gotten to the point where I listen to music while I'm watching TV. It's gotten so bad. But,
That would probably
I
be a
like to-
little too much for me.
overload myself with so much, like, stimulation going on in the room. I don't know, it just helps.
Chaos.
If that makes, yeah,
It's chaos.
if that makes any
Chaos.
sense.
Thrive in chaos.
Mhm.
I do too.
Yeah, or you mute the show, but you just have the music. Like my friend used to do that. He'd put on Passion of the Christ.
Oh my god.
But he'd mute the fucking movie and then play this Woods of Ypres or Woods of Ypres.
Oh my
and it's
god.
like this doom metal, but like it just fit the movie so
I
well.
could see that.
That
I
it
could
was
see-
like, it was like, I mean, it's a brutal film to watch. You're just
Yeah.
like, but then like the Woods of Ypres or whatever, that Woods of Ypres, doom metal to the Passion of the Christ was just like, it fit better than the dialogue of the movie. You're like, oh, this movie's like 1,000 times better now. You know?
Yeah.
It was terrible, but
But it's so good.
kind of funny
It was
though.
good. It was great in a terrible way or terrible in a great way. I'm
Yes.
not sure which.
Terrible in a great way.
Oh man.
depends on how you want to spin it at that moment in time.
What
Yep.
a crazy movie, though. Jeez.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I went and saw it on Good Friday. What the hell was I thinking?
That shit is intense.
Shit. Yeah, that was brutal. That was fucking brutal.
Yeah, I can't think of a more brutal movie.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
I don't think I've seen it.
Passion of the Christ.
It's pretty gnarly.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much the worst movie you can watch.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It's bad.
It made me start studying Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, because I used to study it as a way to be able to effectively make points. Because, you know, if you're going to have discussions with people, you need to do it on their playing field.
Right.
You know, so I used to kind of study it, but after watching Passion of the Christ, I really started getting into, you know, studying Christianity and what it is about Christianity and why it's such a worldwide phenomena, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting.
It is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It really is interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Religion is so strange.
You know, but it's peculiarly fascinating. Like I was talking to somebody today, and she was telling me about a young lady that she was working with who is studying, was it Southern Baptist, I think it was? And one of the things that she was saying was that in this particular faith that women couldn't be preachers. I said, why? And she started telling me, and she couldn't even really answer me. And I'm like, so I don't understand why women can't be preachers. It's just one of those, I've heard it my whole life, but I've often questioned, like, why is that? You know, I have a really hard time believing that somebody who said, you know, a rich man stands a better chance of passing through the eye of a needle than getting into the kingdom of heaven is going to have a problem with my wearing pants. You know, there's a whole lot of holes in there. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys hear what you're saying? Are you understanding this?
A lot of it's self-contradicting, or just
A lot of it
or they're
is.
not like you said. There's a lot of holes in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of holes. It's a lot
Or
of
like
holes.
if you're saying this, then by default you're saying that. No, that's not what I'm saying. And you're like, but that's what you just said. And they're
yeah.
like, no, I didn't say that. And you're like, well, I mean, where are we going with this?
And that's when they get defensive and they shut down. You know, people in general don't like to be questioned. You know, beliefs are a tricky thing.
They're really crazy.
Yeah, they're really crazy. Like, you can stand there with proof, you can stand there with all kinds of shit, but until someone's ready to hear it, they're just not going to.
Right.
You know,
It's like politics is even worse than religion, because it's religion, but
politics
it's like
is a religion.
It's totally religion.
Yeah, it's totally.
But it's
religion.
worse because it's like it's literally like
And what I find,
affecting like the way that we
yeah.
carry out like daily life. you
And
know?
what I
Affect us
find.
directly.
Yeah, and what I find so amusing about that is there are people that can have this really strict, you know, set of rules and beliefs and structures on how they're supposed to live their lives until they decide they want something that is probably against their belief structure, and so they will tell themselves some bullshit to make it to where they can have both this thing that goes against their religious beliefs just so they could have this. It's kind of funny how they'll twist things so they can, you know, sleep at night, I guess.
Yeah, play both sides of the fence.
Yeah, really interesting stuff.
Where it serves them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's just be good to people though. Just be like a good person. Just don't be an asshole.
Pretty much.
You know?
We know.
Like, you don't really need to think. It's like Liar Liar. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Liar.
Where like he finally can't lie.
Yeah.
That's one of those movies that gets funnier every time you watch it because
It really
you understand
does.
more of it every
He's
time.
got the blue marker.
Yeah. But like she's like, oh, you got a call from the same guy. He keeps calling him. He has this like client that he has to keep dealing with, and like he finally just grabs the phone. He's like, stop breaking the law, asshole. And you're just like, that's all you need to tell that guy.
Yeah.
Like how much advice can I give you? Legal advice when you keep, you keep smashing your head into a wall, like doing the same mistakes over and over. But just
True.
it's just easy. Just don't be an asshole. You know?
Well, you know, a long time ago, I was taking my son to school, and the local radio station was doing this series where they were set up in the mall in Cruces, and they were stopping people, and they were asking them what they wanted. So they were asking these women, you know, what do women want? And then they were asking men, you know, what do men want? So for this whole week, we're listening to this on the way into school. So this one woman, they ask, you know, what do women want? And she's like, well, I don't know, but let me tell you what women don't want. And she went on this big, long diatribe about what women don't want. And then there was another woman, they asked her, and she says, oh, I don't know, chocolate? And so I started laughing at that one. I'm like, okay. And so my son asked me at the end of it, he says, what do women want? And I said, well, I don't know if it's so much about what women want versus what men want. I said, but I believe people in general just want to be seen and accepted as they are. Mm-hmm. You know? It's like when I was talking about the woman who was talking about the whole thing about what women don't want. I said, see, somebody like that is not somebody you really want to consider dating because they're coming from a really negative perspective. I said, so that's probably not somebody that you would mesh really well with unless you want to be agitated and stressed all the time. I said, we're like the girl who said, oh, I don't know chocolate. I said, at least she's trying, and she's trying to come up with something more general. So she's actually trying to use something. But yeah, basically. People just want to be seen and accepted as they are.
Basic
and find the
human rights.
positives.
You know? And he even said, he said, well, that seems pretty simple. I said, well, you would think it would be simple. It's not as simple as it sounds. I wish it were, but it's not. You know? Like, I get people all the time that say all kinds, because, I mean, you've seen my Facebook page. You've seen my posts. Mm-hmm. And I was telling one of my clients recently about a story where I had received a new old stalker. And so this new old stalker, right? So what had happened with the new old stalker was a long time ago. He did some really nefarious things. And then fast forward to a couple months back, and this guy is in front of me and he's apologizing. And he told me that I could hit him because he felt so bad about what had happened. And he said, you can go ahead and hit me. I won't stop you. And what I ended up doing was I hugged him. And then I made it creepy because if you're going to do it, you might as well make it creepy. And the guy ended up crying on my shoulder, right? You might as well own it, right? So I threw him in a bear hug, and he's crying on my shoulder. And I was telling one of my clients about it later on, and she is also on my Facebook page. And she says, you post all that satanic stuff on your page, and then you turn around and do something like that. And I told her, I said, well, A, it's not satanic. I said, I can explain this to you if you want. And she's just instantly backed up. Oh, no, I don't want to hear it. And then I told her, I said, and here's something else. If you think that only Christians are capable of forgiveness, then you're part of the problem. Where is that coming from? Like, why do people automatically assume because you're Christian, you're good? That's not necessarily the case. I've had supposedly good Christians do a lot of things that were not so good Christian.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
I feel like I should be over here going, ooh. Oh. The quiet ones on this corner need to make some noise. Sorry.
Damn kids.
So what's on the horizon? What's coming up? Any more trips?
What's coming up?
We are gonna
You guys
go.
just went. You guys been a bunch of places. So you went to New Orleans. And
Yeah.
You went to Colorado Springs.
It's been a fascinating.
Did you go to Utah yet, or is that
No,
the next
that one is coming up. Utah's coming up
When? In August.
August.
So what's in Utah?
I have some brothers that live there, and one of which is in a band, and I've never actually got to hear him play. So
You're
I'd
gonna
like
go crash the show.
Yeah, he doesn't know we're coming.
Nice, perfect.
I'm just
I
a
won't be
sidekick.
sharing the podcast with this one. I don't want him to hear it.
Not until after you go there.
Yeah.
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 Maybe he won't listen to the whole thing. Like maybe he won't get like an hour and a half into it. Or
They don't really know me. We didn't grow up together, so
Ah.
he probably thinks I'm crazy anyway, which is probably pretty true. So, you know.
We all are.
Dun dun dun.
yes.
We all are.
Yeah, and then we're going to Washington
September.
State in September to visit a client that had moved there, and we are totally surprising him too.
And then
Cool.
I'm trying to convince everybody to go to a Viking festival in December because they're doing a Viking festival for Yule. And one of my favorite bands are playing, and it's like a 2-3 day camping thing, like a whole weekend of strange clothing and weird camping and all kinds of shit. I'm excited.
Where's that one at?
Outside of San Antonio. It's between San Antonio and Houston at a place called the Valkyrie Ranch.
Right on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So it's
Viking
pretty
festival.
mild. It won't be super cold.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Not a clue. I'm just showing up.
We're adventurous. We're whatever.
Yule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's the band?
They're called Corvus Corax, which is Raven, basically. I had discovered them because a long time ago I was in a dance troupe and I used to teach belly dancing. And after one of the shows, someone had come up and handed me this burnt disc and said, "You really need to listen to this. You're going to love this." And so it's this hardcore drums and bagpipes and all kinds of just crazy, fantastic type music. And I found I was listening to it constantly. I was using it in my classes. I was performing to it. I've been following them. Thank you, social media. It's made the world significantly smaller as far as being able to keep in contact with your favorite bands and such. So, yeah. So I've been following them for a while, and I found that they were playing at the Viking Festival in December. At the
name
Ranch.
of them one more time?
Corvus Corax.
Corvus Corax.
Yeah. Hard, like I said, it's different
cool name.
languages. Yeah, it means raven.
It's a cool name. I like the name.
Yeah.
You always think of like Amon Amarth and like, I don't know, some of this one's Viking metal, but it's not necessarily metal, huh?
Some of it.
Kinda just like
it's more tribal. It's like real heavy drums, tribal. I love that. God, I
Cool.
love that. I'm excited.
Nice.
Really excited. Yeah,
Excellent.
and then I get to run around with the Vikings all weekend.
Do you feel like those are your ancestors, kind of?
You know what? Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that it resonates. Something very much resonates. You know, in my case, long story short, I'm going to condense this down. I was kidnapped when I was a kid. I'd been through a lot of different homes and a lot of different places. So in those rare moments I was with family, I didn't really exist. So there's a whole lot of things I don't know. Like there's people I've never met. There's people who don't know of my existence. So I don't really know a whole lot of lineages or heritages or anything along those lines. What I do know is that there is something about the runes very specifically that just it's like a bell. You know, it's just like a bell. It's something that when you hear it, when you look at it, it lights you up. You know, and that's what it feels like. It's one of those, it's always really it's in my soul. Somewhere it's in my soul. I feel it. You know, but I don't have, as far as ancestry goes, I don't know. But
Right.
honestly, I question how much of that is really all that important.
Sure.
You know, like I listen to all this stuff and people complaining about cultural appropriation. And I think one of the biggest issues is it's not so much, you know, other people appropriating things as they're doing it in that's a whole other discussion that's just way longer than I care for it to be. But
Yeah, culture is not really owned anyway. And then once you're removed from it after so many generations and
Yeah.
stuff, you're like, well, you know what I mean? Like, I'm this or that. And you're like, at some point, you're like, not really. Like, you're just American.
well, and the thing is, if
Like,
you believe
You know,
in,
like maybe your father's father's father was
Yeah.
from here, but you're not Swedish or whatever. Like, you were born in New Mexico or whatever.
Exactly,
you know?
you're American.
So.
But I know, like, if you believe in reincarnation at all, who's to say that you weren't kicking around as something else like 2,000 years ago or whatever? You know, just there's just some things that hang on.
I had a client that was talking about that today, actually, about reincarnation and asking me how I felt. She had somebody that she knew that had a session with a medium, and her mom came through and apologized to her for the way she treated her, and she said it was because of her past and her reincarnation. When she came back into this world, she wasn't ready to deal with being a parent because of her past life and what she had went through as a child in her own experience.
But see now, and there's a theory that we choose all our experiences before we're born. Like we choose our parents, we choose our everything.
Right.
You know, there's this really interesting theory about that. And I found that I don't know that if I necessarily believe it, but I find that I will get into a situation and I'll ask myself, well, why the hell would I have chosen this? You know, and right, like why the fuck would I have chosen this? But it caused me to step back from something and detach, so there's no emotion, so I could objectively look at a situation and make better decisions about it because I was detached from it.
There you go.
Yeah, so. But yeah, it was because I remember my son asked me one time, he said, why would you choose to have had me at this time in this particular life? And I said, you know what? I said, don't blame me for having dragon slayers in the time of dragons. I said, you were just as much responsible for choosing to choose me as your mom and come here and do this as I was in having you. So stop whining. Go slay some dragons and stop whining.
True.
Heck yeah.
There's lessons to be learned everywhere you go.
Everything has a lesson.
Yep.
Everything has a lesson.
That's it.
Yeah, it really does. You know, we either have stepping blocks or we have stumbling stones. Stumbling blocks, stepping blocks. I'll get back to you on that one.
They work either way.
Either way.
They're interchangeable.
Yeah. Yeah, you either choose to grow from your shit or you let it bury you. That's it. You want to grow or do you want to be buried?
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a coming of age, you have to decide those things,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
Where you're like, this no longer owns me.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, that happened or whatever, but now I can use it for strength
Absolutely.
or wisdom or whatever.
Well, 'cause, you know, pain is inevitable. Suffering, on the other hand, is optional. And the suffering comes from the bullshit we tell ourselves about the pain.
There you go.
You know, so it's learning how to shift the narrative so you can take the pain and let it teach you what it needs to teach you, because it does teach you and it's a powerful teacher. But you got to stop telling yourself all this bullshit about it, because that's where the suffering comes from.
Yeah, at that point, it's your choice to hold on to it or let it
Exactly.
go or move on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. I'm going to have you guys come back.
It was really great.
I promise to talk more next time.
I don't believe her. I've never seen Cathy this quiet before.
That's all right. It was a new
New experience. Very much out of my comfort zone. I'm pretty sure it is all
Mine
y'all's
too. And I actually talked.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
We had this one incident where we had moved salons, and the owner of the salon decided that she wanted to have us do a commercial. So Amy won't talk. I'm sarcastic as hell. And so the girl recording the commercial turns to me and she says, you know, you're really sarcastic. I said, yes, I know. And then she says, you kind of need to lighten that up. And I said, if I lighten that up, then nobody is going to know who the hell I am. Like, do you want me to sell this or do you not want me to sell this? I am sarcastic.
And I literally
part of my
just stood there
charm.
and probably laughed the
She
whole
did.
time.
She giggled through the whole damn commercial.
Was it like a video or just audio? Like
It was just
radio?
an audio. It was
radio
totally
commercial.
just audio.
I still couldn't speak. No.
It was funny. It was
It was
a bad
funny.
commercial. It was bad. It was bad.
I remember taking college courses and I almost passed out a couple times from having to do stuff like this.
We took a college course on communication,
Yeah.
public speaking communication.
I
Yeah.
forget to breathe.
She forgets to breathe.
I do. It's quite entertaining.
And that's one of the things they tell you is to focus on your breath. If you start panicking or sweating or something, or like
Mm-hmm.
you start having these weird physiology like things going on, and you're like, just breathe,
Yeah.
slow your breath, and then like your heart rate will slow down and those kinds of things.
I have talked more people through deep breaths. They come in the shop, they're stressed out. I'm like, let's take a moment to breathe, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip putting yourself out there, but you know, like you just see yourself and everybody else, and you stop worrying about it so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Public speaking and all that. It's a trip. Yeah, I've done a bunch of that too, public speaking.
Well, you know, I used to. I used
Yeah.
to. I used to do a lot of public speaking. You know, you know,
Yeah, I've done like a bunch of college courses and shit, and then I did like a wedding one time. I was like the ordained minister for a wedding.
I've
like-
done that.
Like I'm like a teacher, so like you have to get up and do your spiel, you know, to like
Oh my God.
teach people, and that's the whole thing.
I
And
did.
sometimes you have to do presentations and stuff, like not just for like your students, but like somewhere else in the
Right.
school. To like, yeah, you're just gonna do a little like workshop thing, and you guys are gonna put this together. And I'm like, are we? And I'm like, here we go. They're like, yeah, ready or not, here we go.
Well, and I think that's why we agreed to do this, because it's completely out of our comfort zone. Like,
Yeah.
sit here, and even though nobody, you know, there's nobody else here but us, but still, it's completely out of our comfort zone.
That's what the Twisted Tea is about.
That is what the Twisted Tea is about. Thank you, Twisted Tea.
Yeah, I think I needed
I did
something
this.
stronger.
I performed a wedding last year, right? The wedding went beautiful. It was great. It was just fantastic. I was loud. I was eloquent. I was so proud of myself. And then it came time for the reception, and there was all these people I hadn't seen in a really long time. And I realized that some of these people I hadn't seen since before my husband died. You know, so I'm looking at this crowd and I'm going, fuck, I don't want to go out there because I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to get the pity looks. I'm going to get, you know, I've done this 1,000 times, and I think that's probably why I went really antisocial for a long time. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I went to go put my hands on the door to go out there, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I absolutely grabbed my shit, went out a back door. I heard voices, and I dove into a tree to hide. So now I'm hiding in this tree after doing this great wedding. It was fantastic, and now I'm hiding in a fucking tree. And I'm mapping my escape route because I'm like, okay, so those people are over there. I'm going to go that direction. I'm going to hide behind that car. I'm going to duck behind that bush. I had this whole plan, and then I executed it all while humming the Mission Impossible theme. You know, dun 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 dun. Jumped in my car, threw the car on, took off. Amy calls me and she says, "How was the wedding?" I said, "Excellent." I snuck out a side door and dove into a tree.
For reference, she does that in Walmart sometimes too. I've dived into clothing racks before. There was one day I was talking to somebody and I saw somebody walking by I didn't want to see, and I grabbed these pants and I pulled them up and I said, "These pants are delightful."
Yep.
And my friend says, "You hiding?" I said, "Absolutely."
Sometimes that's the way.
Yeah, totally dove out a side door into a tree.
Like the Irish goodbye, where like if I go around saying goodbye to everybody, I'm not going to get out of here. I do it at the VFW all the time.
Yeah.
Because everyone will be chilling, and I'm like, I could go around, but I'm going to get caught up for the next 45 minutes. So sometimes I'll just be like, just dip out. No one's going to know.
Yeah.
Even, like worst case scenario, they're going to be like, "Where'd Pat go? Oh, he must have went home."
Yeah.
Like,
I
no
do
one
that.
cares. But sometimes you just got to dip out.
We were at a wedding.
90% of the time, we have to keep her in front of us because otherwise she scrolls away and we lose her. And then she's there for like another hour chatting with people, and we're like, we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't put her in the back. You got to push her out the door.
They don't let me wander. When we were at the Renaissance Festival, these two decided to sit down and wait for the joust. There was a guy somewhere that had frozen chocolate-covered bananas, and I was on a mission. I'm like, I want a chocolate-covered banana. So they sit down, I take off, and I said, "I'll be back in about 15 minutes. All of a sudden, Amy calls me, and she said, "You said you were going to be back in 15 minutes. I said, "Okay." She said, "That was an hour and 15 minutes ago." I went, "Whoops. Hold on, I'll be right back." And she said, "The joust is getting ready to start." So I start heading back, and I stop because this guy had a cart, and he had all these old watch fobs. And when you open the watch fobs, it was different dimensions, different worlds and shadow boxes put inside these old watch fobs. And he said, and he's telling me that the reason he really believes in these watch fobs is because it reminds people to stay present and not worry about the time and so on and so forth. And I turned around and I looked up at him. You know, when you meet somebody who's going to understand what you're saying, you can see it. And I looked at him and I said, "I can't talk to you right now, because if I talk to you, you're not leaving, I'm not leaving, and I already have two friends that are back at the joust that are already giving me hell because I'm an hour behind, so I can't talk to you. But it was nice to meet you, I gotta go." And just took off. And he turns around and he says, "May your life be as glorious as you are." I was like, "Hell yeah, all right, see you," and took off, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they don't let me. I wander, distracted by shiny objects.
Yeah, well, and you see people, so you talk to them and engage,
Everyone.
and time slips away. Yeah.
Yeah,
But she's not the chatty one.
I'm not chatty.
It's not chatty.
Not chatty.
Not true. She
I'm
is
not
chatty.
chatty. I'm not chatty.
She is the chatty one.
Not chatty. I just give people what they need.
So you're gonna be going to Phoenix, but you'll come back for a SevenStone show eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
You
guys just
better
have to
be back for a SevenStone show.
post the schedule or something, and I'm going to be stalking the page, but, you know.
Are you coming back for holidays or anything like that, or just?
I have no plan, you know. I'm sure there's going to just be like a weekend where I just want to come back. So.
Cool.
And we'll make sure it's a weekend that you guys are playing because, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then we can see her too.
Dude, we're going to get the SevenStone party bus.
Yeah, and then you guys have an excuse to go to
Dun, dun,
Phoenix
dun,
too.
dun,
Hell yeah, I don't need an excuse.
Like maybe like when it cools off. Like
Not in
just,
the summer.
Yeah, not in
Yeah,
the summer.
maybe
I-
for like
I wouldn't
1
survive.
because it's
just go in like January,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, I could do that.
We could scooch down to Tucson and go to the Rock and Mineral
Yes,
Show.
we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to get into the rocks and energy and all that stuff next time. The rock show. The other rock show.
The other rock
You
show.
guys
the
came
rock
from a
show.
rock show to the rock show.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
represented the Rock at the Rock Show. I totally wore my SevenStone shirt all the way around that rock show.
That's
She did.
I know the first time they're like, Cathy, you want to go to a rock show? I'm like, yeah, who's playing?
We're like, no, rocks,
Actual
Cathy,
rocks.
rocks.
I was like, oh.
That was when I was running around with my bobcat skull.
Yep.
I got a bobcat skull. It's beautiful. God, she's
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Well, thanks so much for coming. I guess we'll wrap it up. I know
Thanks
it's been
for
a while.
having us. We've enjoyed it.
Yes, we'll do another round one of these
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Get the twisted scissor back in the house.
Raise the roof.
No. I'm more of a cave girl.
We can raise the cave.
Raise the cave.
Cool, and good luck in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Hope everything works out. And Alamo's not going anywhere. You can always come back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
You know
I'll be
where to
back
find
a lot.
us.
Everybody I've ever known is here.
Yeah. Just a 7-stone throw away.
Ah,
Yes.
very nice. Very nice.